Welcome back to the Automated Coach podcast. Today, I have a dear friend, Dr. Tajiri Brackens, who is widely known as the workplace wizard and culturologist, which I'm sure she'll share more about in a bit. She's a nationally recognized leadership strategist and founder of Heritage Leadership Consulting, LLC. With over 3 decades of experience in sales and leadership, she transforms toxic workplaces into cultures of loyalty, connection, and productivity. In addition, she is the best-selling author of Power, Privilege, and Humility and Bipolar Faith. Welcome so much, Dr. Tajiri.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Denise. This is truly an honor to be able to sit and have a conversation with you. My heart is just fluttering because I get to be with the Honorable Dr. Denise and great conversation. So I'm so looking forward to it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you. So tell the audience a little bit about what you do and who you serve.
Wow. So, in order for you to fully understand what it is that I do and who I serve, let me give you a little bit of backstory as to how the Workplace Wizard came to be. So, there are two sides to the Workplace Wizard and the development of Workplace Wizard. One being in the sales and marketing and leadership side, and that is from a direct sales organization, a multi level marketing organization. And then the other side is from corporate America. So, first, let's delve into the direct sales side of that coin. So, I was with that organization for almost 35 years.
Wow.
And from that, you get to learn a lot about people. You get to learn a lot about their temperaments. You get to learn a lot about the sales process, understanding how you need to build relationships, and also about building a team that is on board with the vision that you have and how to be able to get them to do what needs to be done as far as productivity is concerned so that meet the goals and ring the bell. So, in evaluating that, especially the latter part of my tenure and career with that organization, I looked at the teams that were doing exceptionally well versus the teams that were not doing so well and wondered what is it that they're doing and that the other team is not doing, especially if the foundation and the blueprint is the same for everybody, it's available for everybody. And it was in that analysis that I discovered the teams that were doing exceptionally well. They were the ones that had a relationship, a camaraderie amongst each other.
Hmm.
And that looked like, let's just say, two team members, they have children that are on the soccer team. And one of those mothers happens to have an appointment at the exact same time that it's time to pick up kids on the soccer team. And once that is over, obviously the mother can't get there to pick them up in time. So since there's another mother whose child is on that team, just simply asking, hey, can you pick up my child since you're going to be picking up yours as well?
Mhm.
And just like that, it takes a village to raise a child mentality and spirit and foundation, just seeing how they work together and saw them as people and not numbers and production. And that makes all the difference in the world because there's that sense of belonging. And if I feel like I belong somewhere, then I'm going to be more willing to do what needs to be done for the team in order for the team to be successful and to have that longevity and loyalty amongst the team.
Mhm.
So that's where that came from. And I'll add this as far as on the leadership side with that, you have your mentors, you have your directors that are supposed to help you grow so that you can move into the next level of leadership. And I was a rising leader on my way to be in the top 2% and top 1% of the organization.
Wow.
But one thing that my leader said to me at the time, and it still resonates to this day, and it really helped me to understand the value that I had on the team and what my positioning was and how she saw me. And that one statement, that very poignant statement that she said to me was, it was during a time when life was life and then things were going on, and I just wasn't able to do my part of the goal. Had well intentions on being able to do it, but when things happen, sometimes your focus just gets off and you got to deal with what you need to deal with before you can even think about looking at other things. So, that being said, the comment that she made to me was, "You cost me money."
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
That let me know at that moment that all I was to her was just a dollar figure and another avenue of being able to put money into her pocket.
Mhm.
And from there, that let me know that I meant absolutely nothing, that what was going on with me did not matter, that me as a person was just totally invisible. It was just, what could I do for you? And that's also another avenue of seeing the selfishness, if I can use that word,
Mhm.
and only what it is that I can do for her as a team member. And that, again, there was no significance of me other than what I could do for her bottom line. No human interaction, no humanity, no compassion, none of that. It was just a selfishness of, what can I do for you? And that let me know, again, exactly where I stood and what my place was. And that it confirmed there was no belonging for me. So if that's all that I mean to you, then why should I
Mhm.
bother doing or trying to help if that's all you see me as? So that was an eye opener for me in understanding the true role of what leadership is about. Leadership is about empowering. Leadership is about growth. Leadership is about helping somebody else get to their next level. And once that happens and you help them get to their next level, then naturally the things that you want personally are able to be fulfilled. So that was that side of that coin.
Jump in. First of all, I appreciate you sharing that story. So many good things out of there. Number one, it is sharing the sort of the highs and lows of an MLM journey. I think so many people turn their nose up at MLMs, but here you had this very long successful career in that. And I think that's important just as people are trying to figure out what their next is going to be. And then at the same time that you were being a great leader and a great role model, you had this sort of anti role model that helped you to see what you don't want to be as a leader. And so, even through this horrible experience, there were lessons learned that's making you a better leader.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It truly taught me what not to do.
Mhm.
And from there, I took it, received it as the lessons learned. Everything has a purpose. And I got what I needed to get as far as understanding leadership, as far as understanding soft skills, as far as understanding relationship building, and how all of that works together for teams being able to be proficient, being able to be profitable. And again, the loyalty that is there. So I don't take that over 3 decade tenure in vain, because it built some amazing muscles and some amazing transferable skills for me as I came into being the workplace wizard. So speaking of transfer skills, let's flip that coin and go over and transfer to my corporate America career. And during a season of that 3 decade span, I worked with Continental Airlines. So that lets you know, one, how long ago that was, because that airline is no longer in existence. And with that transferable skills, just understanding people and building the relationships. And what I did there at Continental Airlines, which totally was not my wheelhouse, but hey, I did what I had to do at the time when I needed to do it. And my position that I held at Continental was, let me get the title right, a purchase card auditor in the accounts payable department. There it is. I
There
got
you
it.
go.
I got it out. I got it out. So with that, my primary duties were to reconcile credit card receipts against the credit card statements. Why I said that was not my wheelhouse, let me tell you, math was not my thing. And accounting was not my
Oh my
thing, but
gosh.
it's an opportunity, and I was going to use it as my foot of getting in the door with folks of being able to move about within the organization. And I'll pause here and say I had this wild dream while in college because I took some accounting classes that my father and I would open a father-daughter accounting firm. But until I got to the point to where I was off by one penny on my balance sheet, and I could not find that penny, and spending hours and hours and hours before I actually found that penny, that was a wake up call to me. Girlfriend, this is not what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Accounting is not it. I do understand the importance of it as it relates to business, but that was just not my niche. That was not my wheelhouse. That was not my gift. So, with that being said, it's like, how in the world did you end up in accounts payable? But I was there. I did what I needed to do. And because I was able to understand from the direct sales environment the power of relationship building, that I took that to my position with Continental Airlines and seeing, okay, this is missing here, this is missing here. I would have to initiate a call or an email to the card holder. And with needing to do that, once they saw my name, because I had built a relationship with him, because there was some rapport that was between the two of us, and it was just small talk when I'd see them passing by. Hey, you said that the kids were going to camp this weekend, or there was a recital or something, just small talk. It wasn't going into, oh, so you're having a divorce. What was the divorce proceedings like this weekend? What did she do crazy this weekend? What did he do to just really piss you? You know, it wasn't anything like that. It was just a small talk and building the rapport with them.
Mhm.
And because when they saw my name pop up via email or the caller ID, obviously they knew why I was calling because they knew what department I worked in. But I was able to get that information in a more timely manner because of the relationship that I had built with them versus had I not had a relationship with them, they may have drug their feet a little bit longer to get me the information. And my supervisor noticed that, okay, she is able to be more productive and more proficient. What is it that she's doing in order to be able to accomplish that, to get the job done in a more timely manner? So that's how the workplace wizard came to be, because I understood the power of relationships and how it affects the team and how it affects culture, how it affects the environment of the people that are on the team. And once you have that true cultivated team, that culture to where people really feel like they belong and like they are a part of, then that is really the secret sauce, the juice to being powerful, to having the longevity, to having the loyalty, and being able to get things done and shine. And if you are the visionary for that, you are the team leader for that, then you're bringing along those people so that the whole team can shine and not just the leader. So that's how the workplace wizard came to be and how things matriculated
Mhm.
as to what I do and what it is that I learned. And along that journey, why you may ask the workplace wizard, along that journey, I believe in simplicity. And with the simplicity, I believe childhood stories are probably the simplest things that we can look at and that we can dive into. And as a child, one of my favorite stories was The Wiz.
Mhm.
And now you see how it all comes together.
Right.
Place was, and as an adult and looking at that movie again, I see the leadership, I see it through leadership lens. And through the leadership lens, what are some of the lessons that can be applied as it relates to leadership in an everyday language, in an everyday environment, in an everyday workplace? So again, that's how the workplace wizard came to be.
Let me ask you this though. I love that story because it's really helping us see how you got to the point that you're at. But what transitioned you from being the leader and having these observations to helping other leaders develop? Where you said, okay, I want to turn this knowledge into a business.
So I firmly believe we teach best what we need most.
Mm,
We teach best what we need most. And if I was needing that, and because I also believe that life is cyclical, there's nothing new that's under the sun. If I was feeling that way, if I was feeling undervalued, if I was feeling unseen, if I was feeling as though my ideas were being stolen
mm,
because somebody else was putting their name on what it is that I introduced, I know there are other people that were feeling and going through the same thing as well. And that paralyzes you as far as being able to grow both personally and professionally. So I wanted to take those lessons and be able to help empower other leaders or those in those positions to where they had the responsibility of helping others, overseeing others, and moving them forward. So that's how that transitioned from corporate America, from direct sales into having a full business.
with that full business, as all businesses do, I'm sure that there have been some struggles. What was the biggest struggle you experienced in your business and how did you overcome it?
There were multiple challenges. I'll be very transparent in that. And this is not for the weak as far as entrepreneurship. You have to have the discipline. You have to have the fortitude. You have to have the resilience. You have to, in the words of Stephen Covey, keep the end in mind as to what the purpose is, why you got into business, what's your why. Was it just to break away from corporate America? Or was it because you really believed in the vision that was deposited into you and being able to monetize that and being able to get something out of it? So let me be real clear in that aspect. You have to know the true why as to what was the purpose and moving about. So, with that, transitioning from corporate America to full blown entrepreneurship, one, that security of every 2 weeks, as far as the paycheck
Mhm.
is concerned, that is an adjustment. However, I will take that adjustment any day, every day, all day long, 365, decade by decade, knowing that I have the freedom and flexibility to be able to design the life that I want, to be able to be involved in the things that mean something to me
Mhm.
versus building somebody else's dream. You just can't take away that freedom and that flexibility. That means more to me than anything. And if I can just paint the picture even further, if I just have $2 in my account, I am okay with just having $2 in my account, knowing that everything has been satisfied as far as financial responsibility. But then knowing if I don't want to turn on my laptop at 8 o'clock in the morning and I decide to do it at 10 o'clock, I am okay with that. The work will still get done, but sometimes you just have to take that breath and understand your gifts, your strengths, your workflow. Because I could sit up, if my mind is not there at 8 o'clock in the morning, I could be fiddling around for 2 hours before I actually get to work,
Right.
just on the internet, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, going down those rabbit holes. And that time would really be wasted. Whereas if I take that 2 hours to just rest or do something else that needs to be done, so that when I come at 10 o'clock, I am focused on what needs to be done. So that's another challenge, if I can put that in that category. Time management is another challenge.
Mhm.
Your circle, as far as who's there that truly understands the power of entrepreneurship, that changes, that shifts, because you got to be around like minded people.
Right.
So that they understand, dare I say, the struggle, they understand the challenges that you have to deal with. And the mindset of entrepreneurship is totally different from the comfort and security of corporate America and that stability of every 2 weeks. Some months may be $10,000, $20,000. Some other months may be 5,000. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that there are those adjustments and how do you adjust yourself in those times when every month does not look the exact same.
And that goes back to what you said in the beginning. I'm so glad you mentioned Stephen Covey, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and the idea of that why, because you need to keep that why in mind when you have $2 in your bank account, that there's a reason for that. And when you're not getting that paycheck every 2 weeks, you need to remember there's a reason I am choosing this path for my life. And that's part of what keeps you going.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's good.
Absolutely. That's the fuel. And when you realize that it's bigger than just what the circumstances are at the time, then that, for me, has been the motivation to keep going, to keep pushing, because I know what I have is absolutely amazing. I know that it's a disruptor in the market. I know that other people need what it is that I have. Other people see me as their breakthrough, as their coach to be able to help shift them and get them to their next level. That's why I keep going and I keep doing. And when you get that testimony that says, oh my God, I took what you gave me, applied it, and now I see the difference in preview and post you, how it's made a difference in my professional life, how it's made a difference in my personal life. So I thank you. And those adrenaline injections is what I'll call them. That's what keeps me going as well. And that validates that what I am doing is needed, it is wanted, and it has a place in this world.
Yeah. Let's transition a bit into learning more about your area of expertise. Could
Mhm.
you share 3 tips about your area of expertise with our listeners?
Wow. 3 tips. I'll just tie them to the whiz, to my framework. One is vision, knowing exactly where it is that you want to go. You may not have the complete roadmap, but that comes along the way. But if you know the end goal, then you're able to map it out as far as where you want to be and how you want to get there. So one would be vision.
Before you go on to the next one, have you ever encountered someone who had trouble coming up with the vision, that they're just not clear on where it is that they want to go? And if so, how do you help somebody in that state?
Why? It's funny you should say that because I did have a client and she was trying to figure out exactly what to do with her business and how to go about. She knew she wanted to be in business, but she wasn't quite clear how to go about getting what she believed and what she wanted into the marketplace.
Mhm.
So in having deep dive conversations, and I mean deep dive conversations, understanding what was her gifts, her zone of genius, what she could do at 3 o'clock in the morning if somebody were to wake her up. What is it that she could spit off immediately? Asking her questions like, what do people always come to you for?
Mhm.
That you just naturally respond, you give them what it is that they're asking of you, from you, that you don't think twice about it. That's what you need to hone in on because in entrepreneurship, unlike in corporate America, you want to be able to do something that you have a passion for. That simple doesn't mean that everything is going to be easy along the way, but you want to go into an area where no matter what time of day it is, no matter where you are in that business cycle, that you still continue to pursue and push forward because it's something that you're passionate about. It's not daunting like going to a job. Like,
Right.
God, I didn't get up and go to this job. Yes, you may have the frustrating places along the way, but still, because that's your baby, that's your passion, and you can do it just like if somebody were to ask you what's your name, you just put it right on off. Then that's when you know that clarity comes into place and you can begin to hone in on how to monetize it now that I know exactly what it is. So that's how I've been able to help as it relates to vision.
Oh, that's great. And what's your second tip?
Second tip would be authenticity.
Mhm.
That is huge. That imposter syndrome that comes about, that creeps in. We've all heard about that. We all are familiar about the imposter syndrome. Just being authentic and being true, because people can see and they can feel the genuineness in you. They can feel your passion. Energy is transferable. So if it seems like there is a desperate attempt to be able to get something or to sell, to close the sale or whatever the case may be, you don't have to really worry about it if it's authentic. And people can see your genuineness and wanting to help them
Mhm.
versus you just trying to close the deal. Like when I said earlier, the comment that was told to me, you cost me money. It was all about closing the sale, closing the deal, and that there was no genuine interest in me as a person. So authenticity comes into play there. And with that also is being unapologetic about who you are. If there's something in the business that you don't like, that you don't want to do, that drains you, delegate that to somebody that they can do it 24/7, 7 days a week, 365, that is nothing to them. Because if you concentrate on something that is daunting to you, then you're going to dread the decisions that you made as far as entrepreneurship is concerned.
Mhm.
And that's going to be a time killer. You begin to procrastinate because I got to get this done and I really don't like doing this, but I know that it's something that has to be done. And that takes your energy away. I'm real big on energy, being an energy giver and not an energy taker. And that's in the rooms that I walk in, every aspect of my life, really.
Mhm.
So if there's a task that has to be done and I don't like doing it, I'm not going to want to do it. And I keep pushing it further and further back. And in pushing it further and further back, it prolongs the progress of being able to do what needs to be done in the business. So that's why I say authenticity is another important character of entrepreneurship, of
Mhm.
being out of life, period. So you can take that entrepreneurship in corporate America in your personal life. It's applicable all across the board. Again, something else that's transferable.
And there's an assumption there as well, though, that in order to be my authentic self, I need to know who I am. So there's an element of needing to be perhaps more self aware so that I know what I'm good at, what I'm passionate about, who I truly am, so that I can be authentic. Because if I don't know, if I'm not really clear on who I am as a person, I don't even know what I could potentially delegate because I haven't understood myself well enough to do that.
Absolutely. And as you can see, all of this ties together. So there's that clarity with the vision and then knowing who you are and how you're able to move and how you're able to navigate. So everything really is interconnected.
Mhm.
There's nothing that is independent of the other. It all works together. So that would be my second tip.
Great. And what's your third?
Third, hmm, these two actually go together, which is courage and heart. Um, You have to have the courage in order to be able to do something different.
Mhm.
And then you have to have a heart, the passion to be able to do what it is that you have the courage to step out and do something different for. Like I said, all of this is intertwined. You can't have one without the other. The song came to my mind, love and marriage, you can't
Right.
have without the other. But then they go, this the courage and the heart, they have to work. You can't separate them. And that's going to be the fuel for your vision. And that's going to be the fuel for being authentic. So hopefully that helps you see how all of that is woven together.
And do people naturally have courage? Is that something that they can develop? How does courage show up for people?
Of course, we're all built differently. I think it's inherited in us. One of my mantras is inheriting the seed is the seed. So whatever it is that you're built of is what's going to come out. Of course, depending on the situation, it may show up differently. Sometimes it may be suppressed, and there won't be a need for that to be elevated. But there are times in which, again, based off of the situation, the circumstances, where you just got to stand up and say, you know what, either enough is enough, or I need to go do this. I need to go handle this because nobody else is going to step in and step up in that arena. And that can be for yourself, that can be for family, that can be for friends, that can be for community, that can be for simply right is right, wrong is wrong. And you need to have the courage to step up and step out in that arena. Not every day is it going to be something that you need to speak up about,
Mhm.
to speak on. Doesn't mean that you necessarily are just brushing it, sweeping it up under the rug. You see what's happening, you see what's going on. But again, you get to a point to where there's enough is enough, and you got to step up and say something.
Right. Powerful. 3 powerful tips, 3 and a bonus. Powerful tips on how people can embrace that workplace wizard mentality.
Mhm.
Let's pivot a bit and go back to talking about your business and how you are getting the word out there, how you bring people through. Could you talk a bit about how you go about collecting leads for your business? How do you convert sales and how do you support clients in your business?
So the first and foremost is the value that I add. Yes, I am in business to make money, but everything isn't about money, because that will naturally come. You can't get to the money if there's no value affiliated with what it is that you're going to be given and what you do. Think about it when you go purchase something for yourself. Is there value in what you are about to make the investment on? Whether that be a car, whether that be a house, whether that be technology, whether that be I like tech toys. How is this going to add value to what it is that I'm already doing? How is it going to help me move forward, whether it be in my business or how is it going to help with my branding? How is this going to be an asset for me? Because you want to be in a position where you have assets and not liabilities.
Right.
So that's where I come from as far as being an asset to someone and adding extra value to them. And then once they see the value and how much of an asset that I am, then that is going to say, you know what? I want to continue this conversation. I want to continue this relationship. So let me make the investment so that I can grow even further and have more value added to me so that I can be of more value to someone else.
Hmm. Hmm. Great. And then because we are the Automated Coach podcast, we like to talk about how our coach guests use automation in their business. So, what are some of the types of automation that you use in your own business?
Probably the first step to everything is my calendar.
Yeah.
Because I believe if it's not on my calendar, it does not get done. I live by my calendar, my phone, my digital calendar. And it used to be, since I mentioned Stephen Covey earlier. I don't know if you remember the
Yeah. As soon as you said that, I did that planner.
writing it out, going
Mhm.
here, either getting the replacements because I had the binder and there was no need to buy that, just had to get the fillers for that. Then other calendars, other planners that I looked at because I believed in writing it down and having it there visible so I'll know what's on my schedule. And then as technology developed, it now is on my phone because I don't want to walk around with a book right. And my pocketbook and whatever else it is. I know that I'm going to have my phone there with me. So using that digital calendar and making sure that using my calendar,
Yes.
just sending people a link to say, here, let's get on the calendar, let's have a conversation. And once it's there, then I know what my commitment is. I know what my obligation is and where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there. So that is the biggest thing for me, which is getting people on my calendar. It just makes it so much easier for them and for me. Here's my link. You pick your time because I've already designated when I'm available because I know the other things that are going on with my schedule. Get on the calendar. Let's continue the conversation. So that's the biggest asset and tool for me for everything. And that gets the ball going for everything else in my life.
Oh, that's good. So important. It's just calendar management and getting those appointments booked so you don't do that back and forth phone tag, email tag, trying to find a date that works.
Absolutely.
All right. Our listeners here at the Automated Coach podcast are action takers. So, what is one action that you would encourage our listeners to take?
Just one action. It's your time management and controlling that. So going back to what we were just talking about, what's on your calendar, where are you supposed to be? Who are you supposed to be with? What type of conversations are you supposed to be having? And being able to streamline that. I believe the first step to that is through time management via the calendar, because you can put in notes. Hey, this is what the conversation is going to be about, so that you know exactly what it is that's supposed to be happening. But managing your time, you manage your time, then you can manage your account, your other accounts, monetary, financial accounts. You can manage that once you manage your time.
Right. And then this takes us full circle back to you don't know what's important on your calendar if you don't know your why. So if you're clear on your why and your purpose, that helps you figure out, should this be on my calendar? Should it be at the start of the day so I make sure I get this done? So I appreciate you sharing that, because this whole discussion has really been very clear on the order in which people need to do things, getting clear on that why first, and then everything else is going to fall into place. And then you can manage your time effectively.
Absolutely. You know, that old cliche, time is money. And it really is money. So, like I said, once I can manage that, then I know where the money pockets are. Okay, this is a money appointment. This is not a money appointment. This is a money appointment. This is going to lead me to a money appointment.
Right.
But I've got to figure that out through the time that I have allocated for each of those things. As I said, working in the business and working on the business.
Yes. Well, Dr. Tajiri Brackens, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the Automated Coach podcast. I know that our listeners will want to continue this discussion. So where can they follow you online?
You know what? The easiest way for you to reach me and be able to follow me is simply go to my website, which is dr-tajiri.com. And from there, you'll see all of my social media platforms where I am. Just click that little icon, begin to follow, and that way you can get the extra value that I give, and that will be added into your life. So that's the easiest way to be able to follow me. Dr. Tajiri, Tajiri.com. Very simple.
Thank you very much. And they can access your free gift from there?
Actually, you have a very special link that I have sent to you, because this is not available to everybody, only to your, that they have that special link to where they can be able to get my freebie.
Excellent. And for those of you listening, we will put that in the show notes. So make sure you go to the show note page to access that free gift. Well, again, Dr. Tajiri, thank you so very much for joining us here today.
Thank you. Have a good one.